guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, "Think I Work Here and Demand Me to Move 30 Bags of Concrete?" Okay, so, I live in Australia, and we have a supply chain of hardware stores here called Bunnings Warehouse. Picture a hardware store for everyone. Both tradesmen, and your average Joe. I was a teenager at the time, and I was dressed in work clothes. I was working for a carpenter at the time. Steel cap boots, work pants, the whole deal. The most important thing about this all is my work shirt. My company uses a black button-up shirt, short-sleeved, and collared. Search FXDSSH1 if you are interested. My company also had our logos plastered all over these things. For privacy reasons, I can't show you the logos, but these are the base shirts. Now, the people who work at this hardware store, they wear red polo shirts with green writing, the logo for their company. Also, if you are interested, search Bunnings Warehouse uniform. Now, I was riding shotgun with my boss. He had gone into the store, while I was in the timber yard, collecting some bags of concrete for the footings we were about to put in. I was moving some of the bags, one at a time to my boss's work truck. These bags aren't overwhelmingly heavy, 20 kilograms, 45 lbs for the imperial readers. But, I was only moving one at a time. The walk wasn't far, and this was at the start of the day. Last thing I wanted to do was injure myself before the real work has even started. I was on my 6th bag out of 13, when this man came up to me. He was your average DIYER. Certainly not a tradesman. Just your average bloke, 50s, balding, and wanted to show off that they could successfully screw together a garden shed. He was just staring at the pile of concrete bags. For context, there are several different kinds of concrete for different purposes. Rapid set, mortar, cement, etc. He then asked me what concrete he should use to put in some fence posts. I told him he would be looking at the rapid set, it would suit his needs perfectly. Considering he needed to ask what kind of concrete, I imagined that he hadn't actually done any sort of work like this before, so I gave him the lowdown. Dig your hole, pour the bag directly into the hole, wet it with your hose, dome it off. Pretty simple. So he said thanks. No issues here. So I grab my next bag, and begin to take it to the truck. Here is where the fun begins. "What? Where are you going?" he asks. Now, I'm quite confused at this point in time, and then I respond with, "Oh, I'm going to go put these bags on the back of that truck." "Is that a problem?" He replies with, "Mate, my car isn't over there. I'm the white Camry over there." It's always the dudes in the white Camry at Bunnings. Any tradesman who goes to Bunnings knows exactly the guy I'm talking about. Anyways, I stand there trying to figure out what is going on. "Well?" he asks. I figure out that he thinks I work there. "Oh, sorry mate, I don't work here. I'm getting concrete for my job, and I'm on a tight schedule." "Sorry mate." Now, usually if I didn't have to be somewhere, I would have given anyone a hand. Moving these bags sucks. But he doesn't seem to believe me. "What? Look at you. Of course you work here. You got the right clothes and everything." I try to reply, and he doesn't want to have a bar of it. He goes off and says as he's walking away, "You better have all 30 bags on my car before I get back. Step on it." Well, my dearest friend, be careful what you wish for. It didn't matter that I was busy, this was the new priority. Cue the malicious compliance, petty revenge part of my story. His exact words were, "You better have all 30 bags on my car before I get back." His car had a box trailer. I knew exactly what he meant. But no, sir. I tried to tell you otherwise. But you did not listen. I needed to move, so I started moving the bags, 2 at a time. I placed them all over his car. 12 on the bonnet, 6 on the trunk, and the rest, perfectly layering the roof. I see him walk out. He sees his car and this monster's jaw hits the goddamn floor. He nearly had a heart attack. "My car. What the duck have you done to my car?" I had a grin from ear to ear. "I put all 30 bags on your car, just like you asked." I was giggling like a toddler. Now, after much screaming, I told him to can it, and he could move it himself. I was late as it was, and my boss was getting impatient. However, he watched this all, and was laughing too. "Sorry mate, I have to go to my actual job now, so you're going to have to move these yourself." He was not happy, but hey. At least the bags were now significantly closer to his car. He sucked it up, and began to move them. I was walking back to my car when I heard him yell. The thing about these bags of concrete is that if you don't support them underneath, and just grab them from the sides, they tend to split, clean down the middle, dumping all the contents of the bag in a messy pile directly underneath the bag. He had split a bag, clean down the middle whilst trying to take it off the roof. This thing spilled its contents all over the roof and windshield of his car, and it was the funniest thing to happen yet. He got the job done eventually, but not before splitting 3 more bags. His car was covered in concrete dust. I left him there, car covered in concrete, whilst he admitted defeat. This one's on you, Camry guy. This one is on you. The next story is titled Stranger in My Neighbor's Driveway. I was on my morning walk and was about a block away from home when I saw a truck I didn't recognize pull into my neighbor's driveway, directly across from my house. The neighbor has a large extended family, so I figured it was someone he was related to or a friend. A man in his, probably, late 50s, early 60s gets out of the truck and walks to the neighbor's truck. He then opens the driver's side door and looks inside. I thought it was odd, but surely he's a family member there to work on said truck, common occurrence. But a little odd for my neighbor who is not a morning person to have someone over at 8 on a Saturday. The stranger then opens the hood and looks at the engine. I'm pulling out my phone to call my boyfriend knowing my neighbor won't be up yet when I see him walking down our driveway towards the stranger. Here's the conversation. BF equals boyfriend. S equals entitle stranger. BF. Hey, do you know the guy who lives here and owns that truck? S. No. BF. Feel like explaining why you are going through his truck? S. I saw it and really like it. I am going to ask him to sell it to me. S then turns and starts walking to the neighbor's house. BF. You need to leave. He's not interested in selling it. A bit of advice, don't just stop and go through people's cars when you don't even know them. S. Stomps back to his truck and slams the door before driving off, clearly pissed. Seriously, who thinks it's okay for them to just stop and start going through someone's truck? If he's interested in it, maybe leave a note in the mailbox. ETA. Since a lot of people are commenting that he was looking for something to steal, I am adding some context. This was a Saturday morning around 8:15 on a bright sunny day. The S had to drive straight at me to get to the neighbor's house, and there is no way he didn't see me. Our houses are also the first houses in a neighborhood on a busy street, so the driveway is parallel to a busy street with houses across said busy street and no obstructed view of him doing this. The next door neighbor was also outside in clear view of what the man was doing. S did not try to sneak at all. When he said he didn't know our neighbor, he was completely nonchalant, like it was the most normal thing in the world. I'm not saying he wasn't trying to steal, I'm just saying that if he was the worst thief in history by looking in someone's car while other people were in his line of sight watching him in broad daylight. The next story is titled No, Karen. I cannot help you go to the bathroom. In high school, I worked for a national movie theater chain. While they've since changed them, the uniform at the time consisted of navy blue trousers and a red polo. Nearby, in the same plaza, there were several restaurants and fast food places. Among these was a Panda Express. During my 15-minute break, I'd been at Panda and in line ordering and waiting to pay for my food. I was minding my own business, and hoping that I could get out of there quickly enough to have time to inhale my orange chicken prior to darting back to the box office when my break ended. I'm a bit zoned out, so I became rather startled upon an abrupt ahem, accompanied by a tap on my shoulder. I turned and took in the sight of what we all know now to be a Karen. Me. Oh, sorry. Was I in your way? This is my default line of thinking, and I have terrible social anxiety. Karen. I said I need to go to the bathroom. Me. Pointing, well, it's over that way, I think. Karen. I know that. Obviously. Me. Confused at this point, because I'm not at all on the way of her getting to the bathroom, and now she's admitted to knowing where it is. I don't know what. Karen. Shouting, I need the key. At this point, it's time for me to pay for my food. Remember, I'm on the outside of the glass counter and waiting in a line. I figure maybe she is trying to get past me to ask the cashier for the bathroom key, so I step back and make room for her to go ahead of me. She doesn't. Karen. I asked you for the bathroom key. Do you not know how to do your job? I finally realize that she thinks I'm employed there. I guess maybe it's because my work shirt is red and so are the employee uniforms there. Me. awkwardly pointing at the cinema logo on my polo. I am just on my break. I don't. She must not have looked at the gestures I'd made to the uniform of the company and actually employed by. Karen. Is this your manager? Turns to cashier. Your employee is so rude. Just because she's on her break she's refusing to help me go to the bathroom. She needs to be fired. Cashier. Ma'am, she doesn't work here. Will you be purchasing a meal? Our restrooms are for customers only. Karen sputters, then turns and storms out of the place to terrorize some other establishment with a public restroom. They totally allowed people to use the bathrooms without buying food, by the way. I think they just wanted to have her leave the store because of the scene she just made. The next story is titled I Live Here. My home is close to a popular restaurant, that is brick and red like my home. Often people get confused, also because if you don't look at the restaurant sign it really does kind of look like my home. And because people don't always read signs and think they know the directions 100%, my home gets mistaken to be said restaurant. I got a loud knock on my door, and it was around 1 p.m. so I was just now getting up and still in my pajamas. Lady. Hi, are you guys open? Me. No, this is my home, the restaurant is a few blocks down, thanks. Lady. This must be it, I've been here lots of time. I love the decor, it looks lovely. You could see inside my home since I had the door open pretty wide. Me. I live here. Lady now looks appalled and told me I must not live here, that it's too big and beautiful. I said the restaurant is down a few blocks and goodbye. And shut door. Ain't nobody got time for, I do not live here, accusations. The next story is titled Wild Karen Thinks I Work in IT and Causes My Tits to Pop Out in a Busy Store. My username may look like a 12-year-old boy made it, but I'm a 20F. Just to stop the confusion here, I posted this in a different thread but was told it belongs here. BF 18 meters. Karen early 40s. I was shopping today in Iowa for the first time. I live in Chicago but I'm staying with my BF until people start having some common sense again in my city. I have an Asian accent, mixed with a little French, and I was talking to my BF when a wild Karen grabbed the back of my shirt. She pulled so I would be face to face with her, but my tits flew out of my shirt in the process because she pulled on my binding cloth that I use on my breasts. The bras that are my size are very expensive, so I started binding them because it's much cheaper and I can move around more with it. She loosened the cloth and ruined it. I had an angry Karen yelling at me for being indecent, and she also said, now you have to fix my computer for free because you scared my son with those things. She thought I worked in IT because I look Asian, even though I have a tattoo on my arm that says the Asian mechanic in bold lettering. The store only sold food, so I don't know how she got the thought. Once my BF noticed my tits were hanging out, he took off his shirt and put it over my chest and then started yelling at Karen about how stupid she was. Imagine having kid that looks to be in his mid-20s with scars all over his body, yelling at a woman that is around a foot shorter than him. This happened in the span of less than 1 minute and I'm still trying to comprehend what has happened. I'm still shaking a bit from it. If there are any spelling, grammar errors or questions, please comment them so I can answer them. The next story is entitled Drunk Idiot Gets Barred for Life from Every Local Pub in the Village. Backtrack about 4 years to when I was about to leave my small village to begin the roller coaster that would be university. I had been working in a delightful pub for a couple of years. The week before I leave for my the owners of the establishment decided they would give me a lovely, yet rather expensive, gift. This gift would be that on my last night in THR pub before leaving I would be allowed to pour myself however many pints I wanted on the condition that I didn't serve any customers. I should probably mention that me and my mates used to frequent my pub when I was off work as it always had a great atmosphere and friendly people. Anyways, as the night goes on I drink more of my free pints and I have to decline a few customers as I'm no longer employed by the pub. Nobody questions it. Until Karen, oh sweet Lord Almighty, not even Lucifer cold put her on this earth. Not your typical run-of-the-mill, soccer mum, USA Karen. But your short hair, only 2 front teeth, stench of cigarettes, disappointment and child support which was spent on beer Karen. But she had been sat idly at the end of the bar and me and the bartender on shift, we'll call him M, knew she was always a difficult customer. It gets to the end of the night and M asks Karen to pay up her tab. Karenis ensues. Karen. Why do I have to pay for my drinks? Op hasn't paid for any of his. M. It was a gift from the owner as it was his last shift after 2 years and they wanted TL say thanks and LREP his liver for the university life. Karen. Shocked Pikachu face. I've been a customer here for so much longer, why have I never got a reward like that? Me, already a little wavy from the various pints. Karen, I don't work here anymore and I can finally tell you. Nobody here DCUKING likes you and feels sorry for your daughter WHO you drag here with you whenever she's not with her father. Karen and M. Shocked Pikachu faces. Karen. I'll get you fired. Do you know who I am? The owner is my best friend and you'll never work in here or any pub in the village again. M has just seen the perfect opportunity to strike back at Karen and says, is that right? Owner is upstairs. Do you want me to let him know? Karen. Yes. She smirks at me as M goes upstairs to let owner know there's a complaint from a customer. Owner comes down the stairs and the farrot thing he says as he sears Karen at the bar is, oh for duck's sake. Instantly as AHE hears this Karen begins yelling a string of obscenities at owner, M and myself. Bear in mind the pub isn't empty, only last orders have gone, so there's still a lot of locals relaxing and drinking. The Karen is asked to pay up and leave. She refuses and threw her pint glass at owner and is instantly restrained by a few other locals and escorted out. Word travels fast around our little side of town, so within 2 days she was barred from all 6 pubs and reported to the police for not paying multiple tabs, all over town, accumulating to around £1,350 for a 3-week period. Last I heard, the last time I visited my old hometown a few years ago, she had lost custody of her daughter and the father now had full custody and moved away. Thank God, he was always a polite and respectable man. The next story is titled It's My Day Off. Go see your kids, you're here every day. So my work happens to be my regular grocery store. I like shopping there on grocery day because I get a ton of freebies and discounts. On this particular Saturday I decided to do my weekly shopping before starting a new week of being verbally abused for $13 an hour. I should make it clear here, I was not in my work clothes. My normal attire for work is cargo pants and my work shirt. This particular day I decided to wear a Hawaiian shirt and shorts. I don't know why. As I set my orange juice in my cart, I can feel someone staring at me. It's the kind of intense stare that you only feel after they've been checking you out for a good few minutes or so. I turn around and see this customer that I recognize immediately. She comes by nearly every day for random little household goods or weird little, overpriced, succulents. She's got some poorly behaved little kids too, but they weren't there with her. I turn back around, figuring she didn't have anything to say to me. She didn't ask me a question, didn't tell me I dropped something, nothing. I go back to shopping and start debating which almond milk is less crappy when I feel her staring at me again. This time I make it a point to turn back around and make eye contact with her. It's about time you noticed me. I don't know what happened to the employees here, everyone used to be so nice. Now you people barely even acknowledge a loyal customer. She proceeds to walk up to me and cross her arms, like she's my mom or something. Look, I'm a young guy. I started working here as a teenager, so I'm used to being talked down to. This lady just bothered me a lot. Miss, I helped you out a few days ago. If there's a question that you have I can quickly answer, but I'm on my day off. I'm not supposed to work when I'm not clocked in. She looks at me like I just spoke a foreign language and huffs. You shouldn't be here in your day off then. Besides, I'm still a costumer and I come in when you're working. At this point I'm beginning to get irritated. Normally I wave them off, but because I'm not in my work clothes I have the freedom to be a little idiot. I understand that I see you during my shifts, but this isn't one of them. You are trying to make me work on a day that I have off, and I don't get many of them. Technically, I shouldn't even help you out like I originally offered. Thank you for reminding me. I then shove the almond milk back on the cooler rack and walk away. She left a complaint with the manager immediately. They called me up to the front, thinking I was on a shift. When I explained what happened, my manager just laughed at the lady. She's always been a bit of a problem customer, so we never really bother with her complaints. She even threatened to call corporate, so my manager wrote the number down and dared her to call them. She said something along the lines of, "Go for it. While you're at it, tell them what you told my employee. They'll love to know that you tried to harass him." Or something like that. She still shops there, but she actively avoids me when I'm a cashier or bagging. Not a very exciting story, but it still cracks me up. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.